Call the meeting for May the 2nd together. First thing, the invocation will be by Commissioner Keller. The Pledge of Allegiance is going to be by these little Girl Scout, Brownies, Troop 1616 with the Joanna Starpetti and Nicole Carrington, the leaders. So, young ladies, after we have the invocation, then you can stand up and lead us in the pledge. And then we'll have roll call. All right, let's stand.
Heavenly Father, as we come before you tonight, we ask a blessing on our meeting. Give us the wisdom to make the good choices for our community. This week, Lord, with it being the Police Memorial Week, we ask a special blessing on our officers. We remember at this time those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in order to keep us safe. We ask a blessing on all of our staff for the job that they do. We ask for all of our citizens as they go about their business, keep them safe and well. And again, for our first responders in our city, those people who put their life on the line every day to keep us safe. And most of all, Lord, we want to remember too our military. Wherever they are in the world, keep them safe and bring them home to us. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, young ladies, pledge allegiance. Great job.
Commissioner Grogan?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Here. Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Keller?
Here.
All right, before we move on, is Mike or somebody got a microphone, we can bring it over. I want the young ladies to introduce herself. Now, you're here for something to do with the Scout, like badges? Is it on? There you go. We're going to let each one of you get up and introduce yourself.
My name is Cassandra. I am 8 years old.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm 8 years old, and I'm in second grade.
Thank you.
I am Caitlin, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm in second grade.
Thank you.
Hi, I am Kate, and I'm 8 years old, and I'm in second grade.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm in third grade, and I am 9.
And you lost your vest.
I'm Vanessa, and I'm 8 years old in second grade. I'm Lisa. I'm Lulu. I am 7 years old, and I am second grade.
My name is Kai, and I'm 10 and I'm in third grade.
Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all coming out tonight. I don't think we've ever had a better Pledge of Allegiance set. Thank you. All right. Now we have some proclamations. It's going to take a few minutes. We're going to have, we'll start with Teacher Appreciation, then we'll go to the Building Safety Month and the National Water Safety Month, then the 48th Annual Municipal Clerks Week, then the National Peace Officer Memorial Day. So, which one is that? Let's see. Officer, Municipal Clerk. Pass that down. National, I don't know. See which one that is. I didn't go through it in time.
This is the peace officers.
All right. This is Teacher Appreciation. Rosemary. National Water Safety. Joel, what you got?
I got Municipal Clerks.
That's it, John. And if any, the ones that are here, when we read these, if somebody's here for the proclamation, then we'll have you come up and we'll take a picture. What's yours, Joel?
I got Municipal Clerk.
Okay. All right, Joel, you start off.
All right, thank you. Proclamation, whereas the office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, now therefore, I, Rusty Johnson, Mayor of the City of Ocoee, do recognize week of May 7th to 13th, 2017 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Melanie Sibbett, and the entire staff of the Ocoee City Clerk Department, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent.
You want to do the picture now, Melly?
You want to do the picture now?
Come on down and get your picture made. You got anybody to take the picture? Our wonderful deputy chief is back there. I bet she does. And right, when we get through reading the proclamations, we'll have the Brownies come up and get a picture made, and I'll get one with them too. So let's finish the proclamations. All right, Commissioner First.
Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. Established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962, National Police Week pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas every day our nation's dedicated law enforcement officers put themselves at risk to keep their fellow citizens safe, our officers stand as leaders educating the community about the importance of public safety. And whereas, as the City of Ocoee observes Peace Officer Memorial Day and Police Week, we pay tribute to the courageous men and women who wear the badge and keep the peace. And whereas we appreciate the extraordinary efforts and sacrifices made by officers and their family members on a daily basis in order to protect our schools, workplaces, roadways, and homes. And whereas law enforcement officers deserve our appreciation for the work they do, which is to keep people on a daily basis, protect our citizens, and if necessary, stand in harm's way for the communities they serve. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Rusty Johnson, Mayor of the City of Ocoee, do hereby proclaim May 15, 2017 as National Peace Officer Memorial Day, and May 15th through the 21st, 2017 as National Police Week in the City of Ocoee, Florida, and publicly salute the service of the law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation.
All right, Chief, both chiefs, is the chief back there too, Steve?
I was going to say, he's in the audience there too.
All right, come on down, Deputy Chief. We have two great deputy chiefs here, so we're gonna let them both get the picture made. Let first one get in the middle of it there. Thank you. All right, next will be the
Teacher Appreciation Week. Proclamation is, whereas the City of Ocoee deeply appreciates and values the work and commitment of our instructional staff of Orange County, Florida, and worldwide. And whereas the vision of Orange County Public Schools is to be the top producers of successful students in the nation. This is dependent upon classroom achievement, and whereas the teachers are the most single important factors in the classroom to help their students achieve to the best of their ability. And whereas teaching is a profession that requires continual updating of self-knowledge, the ability and desire to impart that knowledge, creativity, patience, and persistence. And whereas besides parents, teachers are the most single influential individuals in the lives of our students and their success and their future success. And whereas the success of students and public education is the basis of a free and strong society. Now therefore, the City Commission and the City of Ocoee do hereby proclaim the week of May 1st to the 5th of 2017 in the City of Ocoee as Teacher Appreciation Week. Furthermore, Ocoee urges all citizens to thank all teachers and school administrators for their hard work and dedication to put forth to educate the students of our great city. Signed, Rusty Johnson, Mayor of Ocoee.
Do we have any teachers here tonight?
There we go again.
If not, we'll hold on to it. Who?
Our camera person.
Our video,
You a teacher?
Oh, okay. I was thinking who?
Is he here? Have him come out here. Excuse us, he works for the school and also does our camera work for us in the control room.
He's a teacher.
I know he's got to be able to hear us.
He's looking at you through the window.
He's not coming? All right, we'll give it to him after. Bashful. You shouldn't be that way to be a teacher. All right, next, John.
National Water Safety Month. Whereas the citizens of the city of Ocoee recognize the vital role that swimming and aquatic-related activities play in our physical and mental well-being. And whereas water safety education plays an essential role in the prevention of drowning and recreational water-related injuries. And whereas the recreational water industry has made many significant contributions as represented by the organization's involvement in the National Water Safety Month Coalition towards the development of safe swimming facilities, aquatic programs, home pools, and related activities. And whereas there are ongoing efforts and commitments within Ocoee to educate the public on water safety issues and initiatives by the pool, spa, water parks, recreation, and park industries. And whereas communicating water safety rules and programs to families and individuals of all ages is vital. Now therefore, the City Commission of the City of Ocoee does hereby declare the month of May as National Water Safety Month. Further, I encourage all parents within the community to ensure their children have received swimming lessons by the age of 5 or have taken water safety lessons that will keep their children safe when near water sources.
All right, we have two young men from our city staff, Recreation Department. Why don't you come on down and John can get a picture with you young men. Thanks, guys. All right, one more. Building Safety Month, May, International Code Council. Proclamation, whereas our city continuing efforts to address the essential issues of safety, energy efficiency, and resilience of the construction environment that affect our citizens both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster give us confidence that our structures are safe and sound. And whereas our confidence is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe constructions of buildings. And whereas the Florida building codes, based on the international building codes, include safeguards to protect the public from natural disasters such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month encourages all citizens to raise their awareness of the importance of building safe and resilient construction, fire prevention, disaster mitigation, water safety and conservation, energy efficiency and new technologies in the construction industry. And each year in observance of Building Safety Month, Americans are asked to consider projects to improve building safety, sustainability at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by our code officials in protecting lives and property. Therefore, City Commission and the City of Ocoee does hereby proclaim the month of May 7, 2017 to be Building Safety Month. In witness hereof, I, the Mayor of the City of Ocoee, Florida. I don't think, Mike, how about you coming up and taking this? Rosemary, won't you do it? Did that with Mike. All right, one more. We're going to get the Girl Scouts. I'm going to get them to do that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I think these young ladies sold a bunch of cookies, didn't they? I heard they sold a lot of cookies. I know I bought a lot of cookies. So. Thank you very much. All right. Next is a, did I get you one? Comments from citizens and the public. If it's anything that's not on the agenda, if it's on the agenda, we'll wait till where it's at on the agenda. If not, now's the time. I couldn't hear you, Mr. That's on the agenda. You can talk there. Huh? At the time, yes, sir. Okay. All right. Back to the staff reports, Rob.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have 3 emergency items for your consideration this evening. You do have copies of them in front of you. The first is it's a Resolution 2017-010, which is a corrective resolution for Resolution 2016-008 regarding a vacation of right-of-way for Azalea Ranch Lane and a portion of Johio Shores Road. This was previously considered and approved by the Commission. The intent here is to correct a recording error in order to allow for a real property sale to occur. So we would recommend approval on this item.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keller, seconded by Commissioner Grogan. Any more comments? No, let's vote. Okay.
Okay, we have 2 items now. Reference Blueford Avenue streetscape. The first one, emergency item number 2, is Blueford Area Phase 2 Utility Streetscape Design Services with Barnes, Ferlin and Associates. This is something we're bringing forth to you this evening in order to keep the project moving forward. They were originally awarded an RFQ, and staff has done their negotiation, and we'd like to award it at this time. Recommend approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Firstner, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more discussion? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
And emergency item number 3 is RFQ 1702, the construction manager at risk for Blueford Avenue Phase 2 pre-construction and design services contract. Once again, it's for the Blueford Avenue project, and staff would recommend approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grogan to approve, seconded by Commissioner Keller. Any more comment? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
The last thing I have, Mayor, is I think it was the last meeting or the meeting before, we asked for a brief study of the issue of Main Street Extension, and Blackwood Avenue, whether we need to consider the naming of the streets. I asked Al Butler to put together a very brief presentation. I think the conclusion you're going to see is what we have now, what we're recommending is the names stay the same as what they are now. So go ahead, Al.
Thank you. Al Butler, Director of Support Services. We're going to look at three questions. One is, where does Orlando Avenue change to White Road? Where does Main Street change to Blackwood Avenue? And what are we going to call the extension of Main Street? The answer to the first question is it doesn't really matter. And the reason for that is that there's 3,000 feet between the two closest addresses that use those street names. All of the property that borders that roadway is actually addressed to internal streets in those subdivisions. So there's about 3,000 feet between the last Orlando Avenue address and the first White Road address. Based on the research that we did, the name changes at B.C. Terry Road, and the reason for that is that this is B.C. Terry along the edge of the subdivision of the town of Ocoee that was created. So this is Orlando Street. They called it Street. At some time the name changed to Avenue, but Orlando Street is designated on this original plat as that name out to the B.C. Terry Road. On Main Street, these are the closest addresses this is the last address on Main Street. The little lift station is the first address on Blackwood Avenue. Then this is a Blackwood Avenue. This assisted living facility is actually addressed to this street here. So there are no properties to be addressed on any of those streets. The software business is addressed to Montgomery Avenue, which is here. So the division happens here. This is the end of the platted portion of Main Street that is still right-of-way. You can zoom in on this. This was the plat that was approved by the City Commission in 1995 that established those street names. And you zoom in here on the intersection, you can see that Blackwood Avenue is on this part. This is the dirt road part, if you're familiar with that area. And Main Street has been mostly abandoned to the east of here. And then also going back to that plat, we look at Main Street on the other side. You can see that it went all the way to Lakewood. Well, Lakewood doesn't really exist anymore at that location, so I put the plat on top of an aerial photo of that area. You can see that Lakewood actually lines up with McGuire Road. So the original intent was for Main Street to extend all the way over to what we now call McGuire Road, which was originally platted as Lakewood Avenue. So this is the extension that we're constructing now, and so to be consistent with that original intent, this would be called Main Street. But the question is, what do you want to call it?
Main Street.
Main Street's fine, just don't add extension, don't,
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
I mean,
We're also not going to add east or west, even though Bluford is a dividing line. It's a dividing line in the downtown area. That far south, it's moving well over into the eastern quadrant of the city, so there'd be no reason to have east and west.
and there may be nothing, no address.
May never be anything addressed on that.
Main Street, but
No.
we've got a situation, and it's not just the streets you mentioned there. But, I mean, we have to go forward and be positive and not be doing what we did on McKee, Franklin.
Yes, where we had to go back and
Kissimmee.
try to put
I
all that
mean,
together.
You don't know, and again, I've lived here for 20 years. I didn't know where the breakdown was between Orlando and White, and I bet a lot of folks who live there don't know.
Well, the street names signs have it correctly. B.C. Terry is the first street that has a white road cross on it, and then all the rest of them have the Orlando Avenue.
Well, I brought this issue up because I think going forward, we need to be wiser.
Yes, there used to actually be a rule that said you couldn't cross a street with the same street name. That was a addressing policy of the city, and that's where you get Klinger Cove as opposed to Worst Road when that was put through.
And AV
And we don't
names
do
and-
that anymore.
Okay. Does Does anyone know how, I'm just gonna throw this out. Did we actually, Maine was just to make it, Maine with an E to make it more, should I say, I don't know, it's not, doesn't appear we want to name it, they named it Maine as in the state.
Well,
But
looking back at that,
It could have been who you wanted, Maine Spring.
looking back at these plats, they used city and state names. You've got California, Montgomery, Chicago, Georgia, Maine, so they picked out names of other places.
Okay, that's, just as long as
So
we're not,
there's a theme, there is a theme there.
there is a thing, but we just, I wish we carried that theme along in other areas instead of 5 streets being the same name. But, okay, I'm just concerned, I don't want to see it Main Street
Do
extension.
you have a favorite state that we should consider for upcoming subdivision?
No, I'll leave that to the developer's interest, but
Well, we have some influence in their decisions.
let's
so.
just not do what we've done.
All right,
Move
yes.
forward in a
No,
positive manner.
I'm with you on that.
Thank you.
All right,
So we'll take that as the consensus of the commission. that
consensus,
it's Main
everybody
Street.
consensus, stay where we are, right?
Stay with
All right.
me.
Thank you. Somebody, is Jacob Garber here? I asked about getting up and speaking on something that's not on the agenda, and that's what this is. So could you come up?
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you for your time. I just have two ideas that I think.
Name and address.
Sorry, my name is Jacob Garber, 3576 Cheswick Drive, in Ocoee, Bryn Mawr subdivision. I have two ideas. I'm an ideas man, pretty much. So, two ideas that I think would benefit the city. One is on Ingram Road. It borders District 4 and District 1, I believe. Currently, there's McCormick Woods and Bryn Mawr. Then there's property of Orange County Public School. I think they're going to build a middle school. I have two kids, wife, the whole deal. We ride our bikes and walk, try to get over the West Orange Trail. There is no sidewalk. The sidewalk cuts off. I figure there's some type of public easement there. Obviously, I know that's the school board's property, but I don't know if plans are in the works for a sidewalk. But I think especially with the amount of subdivisions and the number of residents growing in that area, I think a sidewalk would help. I've seen a few near misses. That road is also, I believe, not lighted still, and it's a winding road. People travel very fast on that road. So if there's money in our budget, I think it would be a smart idea.
You through?
Yes, with that one idea. I have one more, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my second idea, I propose an idea. I thought about this in my shower. That's where all my great ideas come from. A snack shack. I think I've talked to somebody from the city before about the West Orange Trail and us not really having that much real estate on the West Orange Trail. But I think on Ingram and Claricona Road, there's a dirt parking lot. If that happens to be property, I don't know, of Ocoee, to build a snack shack with a location where people on the trail can get healthy snacks and healthy drinks, and make it a nonprofit with all the money going back to youth sports in our city. Like I said, I would be willing to give my 2 cents into it, but just an idea to throw out there. I think there's nothing like that outside of downtown Winter Garden. So there's a whole bunch of, trail where there's nothing like that for the people walking on the trail. And it could be beneficial to our city, and it could also be another stopping point where people can come and say, wow, Ocoee's doing something for the people on the trail. So
Very good.
that's it.
I think it's good. Don't go off yet. I think you got good thoughts, but one of the problems we have at that, Ingram Road is not ours. Ingram Road is a county road.
Okay.
So we've got a subdivision on the other end, on the north end. We got the one there on the very south that's going in, but we don't own any of that property. The trail is through the county also.
Okay.
So I think, Rob, do you have any comments? We could
Check
talk to
on
the
it.
county.
I think if it doesn't have a sidewalk there now, it's probably because we didn't have the right to require
Yeah,
those subdivisions to do it at the time.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a county road, so,
Okay,
well,
fair enough.
it wouldn't hurt to go there and talk to the county commissioner, which is still Brian Nelson, so and bring
All right.
that up.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have a place there for people to,
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I want to say about 2 years ago, I think it was, they did have, and not the greatest, but they actually had like a hot dog stand and soda that was that the county had permitted over there in that parking lot. But I don't know if they just never got enough business or what, but I know they closed up there, but for a
Gotcha.
while there they did. But I like the idea because it would make sense to have some sort of food at that end or water at that point.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the healthy side of things since it is the Western Trail, but.
I would, is there sidewalks outside of the McCormick Woods on that road?
There is,
Yeah,
leading
it goes
leading
down
up
the
to
wall.
leading up to
I
the
think
property of
they-
the school board.
Right,
And
goes
then-
down
and
to
then
the
there's a
wall.
cemetery driveway.
Right, that school, the school board owned that property for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
So they've been promising for a long time to put a school there.
They put a sign recently, so I think maybe there's some.
Yeah, they
movement on
keep changing the sign when it wears out.
it. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. All right, we go to
When we
the
go
commission.
through downtown, you'll have a place to stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Grogan.
Yes, I was fortunate enough this weekend to watch a dance competition. And it was representing the city of Ocoee was NYC Dance. They're down on McGuire. And they really rocked it. They really swept up quite a bit. It was a whole weekend event and brought back a whole bunch of first place trophies and awards, and it was long, but it was pretty fascinating. So congratulations to them. Good job. That's all I have.
Commissioner Wilson.
Just like to say thank you to the city, Joy Wright and her troupe of, should I say, event planners that put on a wonderful volunteer appreciation dinner this past week, and I think it's wonderful how we have so many dedicated volunteers in the city of Ocoee, and it was a great way for the city to thank them for their time, and I know as commissioners, value each and every volunteer and their time they give to the city of Ocoee. So great event, and thank you to all the volunteers who were able to come. And next year, I don't know how she's going to top it because that was a great event. So I'm sure she's working on next year's plans. So remember, as our volunteers, please try to mark that day on your calendar to enjoy the festivities. Thank you.
Commissioner First.
I'd like to thank the Parks and Recreation Department. They did a marvelous job putting on the Big Orange Games this Saturday. Love to see the attendance boosted, for future events, but you did a great job. Also want to thank the Fire Department for their efforts of having an open house this Saturday. That, again, was a good affair where a lot of people showed up. Great attendance, and I think everybody that showed up really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Commissioner Keller.
Yeah, I was going to echo those on the, but they've all been hit at this point. So, but it was a really good job. And it was great to see the new truck too at the fire station. I don't know how many people realize that was our brand new fire truck they had on display there as well. So great job all around. But thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Also, on Saturday, the West Orange Handicap Games, we had the Elks Lodge from 2165 participates and cooks for all has breakfast in the morning and then has lunch and helps out for all that. We really appreciate it. If you think you have a trying time or trying life, you ought to come out to that and watch those young people do those games. Let's see. All right, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Keller, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any more comments? If not, let's vote. Motion carried unanimously. All right, we're going to go to the public hearings. West Orange Investments Indoor Storage Facility Revision to a large-scale preliminary site plan. City Planner Rumor.
All right, thank you. Again, for the record, Mike Rumor, City Planner. This is a large-scale preliminary site plan for the West Orange Investments site. It's really a revision to an existing approved site plan. The location of the property is on the northeast corner of Marshall Farms Road and State Road 50. The property is undeveloped. In 2005 and 6, the parcel received an approved preliminary and final site plan for a 3-story indoor storage facility. This is the facility I was telling you about during the moratorium discussions, that there's one site that has vesting that I anticipate coming in at some time. This is the site. The previous approval was for as I said, a 3-story, 63,000 square foot indoor storage facility. And at the time, Highway 50 was not under construction. The property was going to be on septic and had provisions for granting right-of-way and tying in the sewer at a later date. This is the plan that was previously approved. You can see this is Marshall Farms 50. It has an entrance, the parking, stormwater pond, right-of-way dedication. There was an area for the drain field with a future connection to sewer. After 2006, the property owner came in and submitted a building permit, but for a 2-story facility. I mean, he came in with a 3-story facility, and then in 2008, with the crash, he backed away. After that time, the extra space storage facility on the west side, which is on septic, their septic tank and drain field failed, and the city was looking at, we were with this property owner and the engineering firm, they had to figure out a way to help their situation, run some sewer up there and kind of fix the situation. And then we didn't have any participation from Extra Space. They ended up working with the health department and getting the septic tank situation figured out. But during that time, they spent money. There's a in the conditions of approval, they dedicate right away. They get a little bit of impact fee credit. We get it at a discount. He came to us and said, I'm going to build a 2-story storage facility, indoor. And we had vested his site plan. And shortly after the 2-story building permit was submitted, revised and submitted and approved, he stopped. I don't know why he stopped. So this was the site going through the moratorium. I said, I expect we have an approved site on 50. It'll come in at some point. So that brings us to today. And this is a weird elevation that we accepted, showing the different sides of the original 3-story. Now the property zone C3 commercial, so it's straight zoned. It has a maximum height of 45 feet. The project before you today is for a 4-story indoor storage facility. We received the pre-app application around September of last year, and we're looking over the vesting and looking at the project and working with the applicant. And my initial thought was it's 45 feet is permitted straight within the zoning, so there's no waiver request. I just wanted to look at having 4 stories up along 50 with a setback shorter than what you see at the hospital. For instance, the hospital's over 100 feet away. This would be about 50 feet. And so originally had this footprint and having 4 stories, so we engaged one of our continuing contract planners, GAI, and asked them to take a look at the project, and they suggested more of a footprint like this, which takes the building and kind of pushes it back a little ways. So this is a revised site plan that we worked with the applicant through the Development Review Committee and with our consultant, GAI. Under the old 2006 plan, we had an elevation and a footprint, and I felt the need to come back through with this as a revision to the preliminary large-scale site plan, twofold, to kind of explain the vesting and explain the change of what we had expected back in 2006. The stormwater pond stays the same. The only thing that changes, the building pushes back, and this entryway parking area is shifted to the east. There's still the right-of-way dedication. Today, when the sewer is out there and in place, we did that with the beginning of the State Road 50 work. And we have a new elevation that's before you. The applicant is here. If you have any questions, staff recommends approval of this 4-story in the C3 zoning district.
Question?
Anybody?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Just want to confirm Just for anyone who's watching this also, because sometimes when you're watching TV, you don't always see everything. The entrance will be on Marshall Farms Road, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The entrance
Not
will-
right on the edge, it's down a little ways.
Yes.
Is the entrance
It's
a little?
exactly where it was before.
Well, I wasn't
here
here
on
in
the curve.
2006
Okay,
or
so-
7, so, well, I was out there. But
Yes, so it's right across from the entrance to the
To
other
the
storage
other one,
facility,
okay.
yes.
the other factor is now, come to the screen of the elevation, to the, keep going. There, okay. Which side is going to face Highway 50?
This side right here, south
Which one?
elevation.
This one right there?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't read underneath there
Okay,
at that point.
this is a good question. That's
This
good
is
call.
gonna- this is
South
the-
elevation, this is the west facing Marshall Farms.
Okay.
This is the east, and I'll
Which is
show
against
you
the, which is against that Ralph Johnson.
Ralph Johnson property
Property,
with the,
okay.
yeah, it's got landscaping
Where there's a fire
beside
truck.
it. We're looking, yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's how I know it is, okay.
Yes,
All right. Okay, so the concern, as I say, I'm looking for pretty much what's going to face 50, and it's going to have trees, correct?
This will
From your
face 50.
diagram?
Yes.
And then that will be 50, and then the...
Marshall
that-
Farms
Marshall
Road?
Farms,
Yes.
okay. I'm just going to ask this, and I know, because I know that the one down the street is having businesses along the bottom. This is not, the plan
Right.
here is not having businesses, this is
Yes.
garage doors and
Yes, the one down the street,
Cube Smart? or
Cube Smart,
Thank
yes.
you, okay.
that project came in after this one, and that's where the decision was made to require the retail on the first floor. So with the vesting of the indoor use not requiring retail, that was not carried forward with this.
I understand, I just
application,
didn't know
yes.
if they had thought
Yes.
about, if that was something that would be coming later, or by that, looking at it, it appears to be garage doors.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Mike, how tall is the U-Haul storage facility across the street?
3 stories.
That's 3, so this is
Yes.
going to be another story higher than that one?
That facility is in Orange County.
Oh, that's right. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got one.
First.
Mike, this is going to be on the sewer system, correct?
Yes, sewer is out there and.
Okay,
it's-
no septic.
Right.
And will there be roadway improvements at the intersection, or just dedicated right-of-way
Yes.
easements?
Just dedicated right-of-way. A little different, in the Highway 50 after effect, Marshall Farms will be blocked. There will be a median separator, so there'll be no left turns in or out. So it'll be a right in, right out. They will be dedicating right-of-way along here. However, there's no turn lane required, and Public Works has a project to resurface Marshall Farms, so it'll,
Okay, is there going to be a median in 50 there, so coming off the turnpike, there's no left turns?
yes. Yes, there'll be a median in place.
Okay, thank you.
Joe? No?
No questions.
All right, we're going to open it up to the public. Anybody in the public has any comments, or the developer, now's the time, come on up. You should have already come up, I'm sorry. But come on up and introduce yourself.
Mr. Menacke.
I'll use this one. Can you folks hear me? Good evening. My name's Austin Thacker. I'm an attorney from Holland and Knight in Orlando, Florida. As Mike indicated, we're here for the proposed amendment to the large-scale preliminary site plan for West Orange Investments. But I wanted to introduce my client, who's actually here tonight, just to help put a face with the names that you see running through. So with me, I've got David Ellison and Ty Colpini, both of whom flew down from Columbia, South Carolina to be here with you this evening. So hopefully that helps provide some context. I don't want to repeat too much of this, but just for your benefit, as Mike said, this is the subject property. It is on the corner of 50 and Marshall Farms Road. There's some site data there if that's important to you, but I'm not going to read everything that's there. To give you some context, this is the site, and then it shows our proposed site plan that is the subject of this application. Just to give you a little more context, and see how it'll be laid out on the actual property. This, I think, is the important piece, Commissioner Wilson, to go to your question about what is this going to look like. This is as good as a computer image can get. This is what it's going to look like. To give you a little more context, though, the landscaping that's required on this site is somewhat significant in terms of the buffering between the public right-of-way and the actual development itself. And so where we've positioned this rendering is such that if you were kind of standing at the corner just at the edge of the tree line, you would be seeing the southwest corner of the property. And we have to do it that way because if we took a couple steps back, the landscaping would really block your view. And we want you to see what it is that you might be approving this evening, and that's why we've done it this way. This is without the landscaping, just to give you a better picture. But I do want to point out, to address Commissioner Wilson, the comment that you made, those are faux, i.e. fake, bay doors. This is an entirely indoor facility. That's just a feature, an element, if you will, that the staff liked as we were coming through the process. So I don't want you to have the impression that cars are going to be showing up in U-Hauls and people are going to be loading stuff in and out of those fake doors. We'll get into this, and I'll actually go to it, but in the very center on that western side, there's a loading bay, and that's where we envision people coming in, temporarily parking their car or truck, loading things inside, and then carrying them up to their storage units, or whenever they choose to take their things and go, doing the opposite and then leaving. But to give you just a little bit more information about the infrastructure, public works, and utilities, this is the proposed system, if you will. As one of the commissioners indicated, it may have been Commissioner Firstner, what's being proposed is a connection to the City of Ocoee water and sewer. Neither of those connections currently exist, but it is something that we intend to address. And so let me just get to that. You'll notice, and I'm going to use Mike's mouse so that you can see this, there's a proposed lift station here just on the northwest corner of the property. That allows the sewer connection to work properly. You'll notice that there's also a water meter and some related backflow preventers and things like that for the water connection. And then we've proposed what would be a sewer and water connection, but that's something that we've been working with Public Works and Utilities on because we're not quite to the final construction phase, and we're also trying to work with the city so as not to impact the Marshall Farms improvements that are scheduled to happen in the very near future. But going back to the elevations, this gives you a sense of what people will see when they won't be standing on 50, but if they were, this is what they would see. The building height is actually 44 feet, and the city code allows, features like parapets, soffits, things like that, corbelling to go up to 10% above. And so where you see 48 and 46.3, those are elements that give some depth and texture to the building, but they don't, the city attorney can speak to that, but it's my opinion they don't violate the city land development code. I could highlight the sidewalk that we're putting in, the right-of-way dedication that we're providing to the city for that Marshall Farms improvement, but Mr. Rumor already addressed those things, so I don't want to belabor the point, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have, address any concerns that you might have, but ultimately our request is that you would approve this site plan amendment application and allow us to go forward and proceed with the final phase of this project. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? No. All right, anybody else in the public has any comments to this issue? If not, I'm going to move it over to, bring it back to the dais. Any more comments?
Is that district, is that your district?
That's,
Is that District 3?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the large-scale preliminary site plan.
Second?
motion made by Commissioner Firstner, seconded by Commissioner Keller. I think we've had comments. Anybody else got any comments?
Just one quick question. It's the city attorney. Scott, he did ask you whether the face it and all the, is that everything is okay with all that?
I think that's, when we talk about building height, we're talking about the
Interior
roof
ceiling.
line.
Okay.
All right.
This is approval per the staff report. Understand there's still maybe some staff comments that need to be resolved.
Can I ask a question that's totally irrelevant, but
No.
have you, no, I'm assuming you've done marketing. I mean, we have adequate residents that will come out and fill all these places up. I'm just inquisitive.
Yes.
It's just inquisitive that we have that many things and,
Yeah, I don't want to insult the commission's intelligence here. I mean, my client is in the business of making money, and they do their due diligence, and all I'll say directly to respond to your question is, if they didn't believe in good faith that this was going to work for them, they wouldn't be spending the millions of dollars it takes to do this project. So, more specifically, they feel strongly that there's significant demand, and that with the new apartments, there will be increased demand, so.
it's a better way to put it, significant demand. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it's just interesting.
All right, we're going to call for the vote. Let's vote.
Nope.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, item H, first reading of ordinance amending the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund reflecting changes made by fire and police collective bargaining agreements. Police Chief Brown.
Let me go ahead and read this is just first reading of this ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida relating to the City of Ocoee Municipal Police Officers and Firefighters Retirement Trust Fund. Amending ordinance number 2010-019 is subsequently amended. Amending section 1 definitions by amending the definition of actuarial equivalent, credited service, firefighter, and spouse. Amending section 4 finances and fund management. Amending section 6, benefit amounts and eligibility. Amending section 8, disability. Amending section 9, vesting. Amending section 10, optional forms of benefits. Amending section 15, maximum pension. Amending section 26, prior police or fire service. Amending section 27, deferred retirement option plan. Adding section 30, supplemental benefit component for special benefits. Chapters 175 and 185, share accounts. Providing for severability of provisions, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
All right, this is the first reading. The second reading will be on May the 16th at 7:15. So we'll move on to item number 10. Item number 10, first reading of ordinance amending the start time for regular city commission meetings. And I have, let me go ahead and open this up. I'm going to make a comment before you read this. Sure. I've asked if we can change it from, I think we put 6:30 and move it to 6:15. See if everybody's agreeable to that.
I have no problem with that. 6 o'clock would be tough for me to get here, but 6:15 I think would be fine.
All right,
Yep, that's
Yeah,
fine
I'm
with me.
6:15. 6 would be a little tight for me.
6:15.
So, 6:15.
All right, so do we need a motion for that to put in there that you just changed?
Yeah, I think what we would do, by the time we'll revise the ordinance for second reading with the time change from 6:30 to 6:15. It doesn't affect the ordinance title, so that'll stay the same for both.
Should it have a start date?
We don't need to have a motion.
I think you did it by consensus
Right,
at the last
right,
meeting,
right.
so I think if you
Okay,
just want to do
all
it by
right.
consensus.
Okay.
Do we need a start date? This is going to be effective?
We would adopt the ordinance at the next city commission meeting, so it would take effect, unless you wanted to move it to a different time, it would take effect I guess the first meeting in June.
I'm just going to ask a question, I mean, is it time to ask a question right now? Do you
Yeah.
feel as though we should do it in June where we can get notice out to people who do come to our meeting, that giving them adequate notice? I'm just saying.
I think they're here.
Are you here, Mr. Manaki? Mr. Manaki? Are you following what's happening?
A little bit. I may get into trouble on this one.
You need to listen.
Come on, Rick.
Sorry.
Why? Why do you want to change it?
Why do we want to change it? Well, I know.
Has the public spoke up on it? Will you get more people coming up here?
With some of the problems, we have to have staff, and they stay here after the place closes, Mr. Manaki, for 2 or 3 hours, hanging around till we have our meeting without going home. So we're paying them staff time to stay here from 5 o'clock or 5:30 till we have our meeting set 7:15. So that counts up for some money over the time. And it's just, we're trying to get it an earlier start where we can address that issue too.
Well, that's well put, but what about the general public? You're interfering with your dinner hour, and have you took a study what people would prefer to
Well-
come up? The many
Well, the problem we got, we don't have them come to the regular time meeting, so if, they watch it on TV, they're eating and watching TV at the same time. So you can tell we don't have a lot of citizens sitting in the
You're
audience.
on TV. I would be too if I had TV.
I don't know what time you eat. You must eat early in the afternoon, because you're always here on time.
No, I eat 5 o'clock.
Oh, that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Oh, well, hey.
Then you can still eat and get here by
Some
5 to 5:45.
A lot of people are still working at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You're one of those retired guys.
I got you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So consensus is we changing it, so.
Okay, let me go ahead and read the first reading of this ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Section 11-1 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, revising the start time for regular city commission, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. So I guess,
All right.
did we discuss, we're keeping it starting in June?
Summertime, might as well.
Yeah.
Well, we did.
I don't have a problem with, I think people that are gonna come are probably, like someone said, are here already. And if we had a large crowd that was really gonna affect maybe, but I think starting it in June probably is the best time to do it, quite frankly, starting it in the summer, when school's closed, and if you're gonna have a chance to get here.
Consensus, June?
Yeah.
First meeting in June?
Yeah.
Maybe we should put in bold letters on the agenda, like double
All right.
size.
All right. So we'll move to that. The next will be, the second reading will be at May the 16th, 2017, at 7:15. All right, moving on to I. Second reading of ordinance, public hearing. Second reading of ordinance amending chapter 124-6 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, revising park hours, allowing city manager or designee to expand or contract park hours for good cause shown. Parks and Recreation Director Hayes.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, Jeff Hayes, Parks and Recreation Director. This is the second reading for an ordinance amending Section 124-6 of the City Code of Ordinances, revising the hours that parks will close. Neighborhood parks will close at sunset versus 11 p.m. Community parks will now close at 10 p.m. versus 11 p.m. It also allows for the city manager or his designee to expand or contract the hours, park hours for specific events if good cause is shown. It does not affect the time that the parks open. That will remain at 7 a.m. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
No questions.
I'm just going to say one thing. Okay, can I say?
Wait.
The one, Bill Breeze seems to be the one that I get the most complaints about. And I realize 10 o'clock, it's closing, I'm happy about that. But I think it's just the police department, please be aware that that seems to be one of my trouble spots of people coming down, making noise. I had a report about a week ago, one weekend, they were there 9:30, 10 o'clock at night blaring music. So, I mean, I'm happy to see that, the change, and I just, please be aware that that is one of, as I say, one of our parks that's a problem, besides Hackney Prairie, because it is in the neighborhood.
Yeah, the people using the parks have to understand that if there are noise complaints, they do have to call the police. It's a enforcement issue.
All right, you want to
Thank
do?
you.
This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Section 124-6 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, revising park hours, allowing city manager or designee to expand or contract park hours for good cause shown, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date.
All right, we're going to open the public hearing. Anybody in the public have any comments or want to make any comments on this issue? Step up to the, give us your name and address.
Jacob Garber, 3576 Cheswick Drive, Ocoee, Florida, 34761. I do want to say I'm in support of the Times closing at sundown. I'm a Little League baseball coach, coaching at Central Park, and 2 times over the past, I'd say 2 seasons, we've heard gunshots at the basketball court. I'm sure the police are aware because twice, both times, the police have came. And what happens is they're playing on the court, they get a little riled up, and they drive off and, you know, maybe shoot in the air or whatever they're doing. But twice I could tell you that there's been fields full of kids, and everybody's like, what was that, what was that? So I'm glad that you guys are doing it. That was something I was going to speak on, and I'm glad that that's happening. Thank you.
Thank you.
What park was that you said that?
I believe it's Central
Central?
Park, yeah.
Central
Okay.
Park.
Central Park, Little League.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Any more? Anybody else? If not, we're going to close the public hearing and bring it back to the dais. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keller, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. If no more comments, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
The Central Park in Georgia.
All right, item 12, second reading of ordinance regulate human signs with adoption of a resolution amending the fine and fee schedule relating to subsection 153-4C. City Planner Rumor. I do have one person wanting to speak on this, so we'll go ahead and discuss it. Then I'll open it.
Okay, yes. This item is amending the municipal ordinance of the City of Ocoee, specifically Section 153, and then also Article 8 of the Ocoee Land Development Code with regards to signage and what we're calling human signs. The human sign is continuously held by or spun or attached to a person, drawing attention to a business. Regarding past city commission meetings, there was discussion on the human signs, people holding signs in the right-of-ways within the city of Ocoee, and staff's bringing back this item first to define a human sign, and then there's provision which under Article 8 says you can hold a sign on a business's property if the business is located on the property. And then secondly, it prohibits holding those signs within the public right-of-way, and it provides an enforcement provision. The enforcement would be a sign being held or spun in the public right-of-way would be a police infraction. And secondly, if a sign was held on a business property and was not meeting the regulations of size, if they leave it in the ground, if they're not advertising a business within that, that's located within that property, that would be a code enforcement issue. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
Commissioners, I'm going to go ahead and open. You want to go ahead and say something first?
Sure. So that would allow, say the police are driving by, they happen to see this, someone's on the sidewalk spinning, they can literally go in there, not saying write them a ticket or arrest them, but stop. And go
Yes,
in.
tell them that it is prohibited
Okay.
based off our municipal code.
They have the
Yes.
full authority to do that. Good, thank you.
All right, anybody else before I open? All right, I'm going to open it to the public, and we have a form filled out here by John Dick, proposed ordinance to ban sign spinners. Come on up. Give us your name and address.
Hi, my name is John Dick. Address is 2431 Aloma Avenue, Suite 124, Winter Park, Florida. And I found out about this proposed ordinance change, and just to let you know a little bit about my background, is I own a company called Gotcha Works. We're an advertising firm. We've been in business since 2002. One of the services that we offer is sign spinning or human directionals, the different terms. And it's a business that has grown substantially since then. We provide the service not only in the local market, but in other cities in Florida, also in the states of Georgia, Texas, and Nevada, Las Vegas area. And how it started is I used to travel out to California. I used to work for an agency, and I worked on the Disney account for 13 years, and I would have to go out to California, and I would see these sign spinners, and it always fascinated me on how it grabbed my attention and make me aware of what they were advertising, the business advertising the service. And one of our client base, in most cases, is real estate, home developers, apartment communities, and retail. And for a lot of these businesses, sign spinning or human directionals can be either their number one or their second means of creating awareness, creating walk-in traffic, creating phone calls for them. And I think a lot of times the perception is, well, this is having somebody on the street corner is a safety hazard. And I can tell you, of all the years in servicing, providing, we've never had a service, a traffic incident, someone getting hurt, or a motorist getting hurt. So I think that's kind of a false pretense. But I'd really like you to think, as commissioners and obviously the mayor, that the impact that this decision can have on business. So the concept, well, what if we just put the sign spinner on the business property and then they're going to track? I can tell you it doesn't work. So if your goal is to get rid of sign spinning human directional for this in the city of Ocoee, then go ahead and pass this ordinance, and it will go away because businesses, it will be useless for them. Having the sign spinner or human directional at major places to where they can create the awareness is what the businesses need. So having a sign spinner stand out in front of an apartment community, they have monument signs, and sometimes the apartment communities decide they want to build around a lake, and the lake is tucked away from Highway 50 or some major location. How do people find them? I've heard commissioners say, well, they got the apartment guides and what have you. If that worked 100% of the time, that's what they would do. I wouldn't be in business offering the service. I'll give you an example here. Here in Orlando is a restaurant, pub, pretty large place called Sea Dog Brewery, and it's located down in the Disney area. And a lot of traffic around the Disney area, wouldn't you agree? A lot of folks. And I called the client, and I said, look, I'm going to go down. I'm going to the city. And the reason I found out this was happening is I got a call from Fox 35, the local news channel, and they interviewed me yesterday, and that's how I discovered how this was happening. But anyway, Fred, who runs the restaurant, and it's a big restaurant, a lot of square foot. He said, John, if we didn't have your service, I don't think we'd be in business. So while it may look like a petty thing to you, there are businesses that really depend on this form of advertising. And I say, if it didn't work, they wouldn't hire us, but it does work. And the other thing that's important for you to know is that as an employer, I employ a lot of people part-time. Last year, and the figure that I give you may sound like peanuts, it's probably only a couple salaries here, but I paid out over $250,000 in part-time pay, helping high school students make ends meet. Some of these high school students use that money to make things work in the family financially. College students who are helping the parents paid for the college. But you'd be surprised that you might think that the sign spinners, that would be a lot of young people. But I can tell you that 60% of the employees that I have are probably over the age of 40. And they do this job because, one, I pay $15 an hour, in some places more. But it truly is the difference of making rent. It truly is a difference of making sure the car insurance is paid at the end of the month. So as you think about whether you're going to move forward on this decision, I'm planting seeds for you to think about a different picture. Think about the businesses that really depend on this, and by restricting the sign on an apartment community property or a business property, it doesn't work. Osceola County, and I worked with staff it's probably 5 or 6 years ago. I spent a bunch of money on legal counsel, fighting that. And at the time, they said, that it's a good compromise. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's so ridiculous of the rules and regulations that it put that there's literally has been businesses just said, we're out of here. Apartment management companies have sold their properties because they can't market. They can't reach the consumers that are traveling on 192 to drive them back a mile or two to get to their location. And here in Ocoee, you guys got a lot of development going on, and you got new apartment communities are coming up, and they depend on this method of advertising in order to rent apartments, to sell homes, to get people in to visit their place of business. And for many, many small business owners, this is what they can afford. This is what's effective for them. I appreciate your time and give me the opportunity to share my thoughts.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions for me, by the way?
That's what I was fixing to ask. Anybody have any questions?
I have one.
Do you have any opens?
Yes. Question, by going off the sidewalk, going off the right-of-way, how is that going to affect the sign spinners?
Well, we respect, one thing that we do quite extensively is training, and we respect that sidewalk is a right-of-way, that we can't impede the pedestrian or bicyclist and what have you, so we don't stand on sidewalks, we stand off of sidewalks, and that doesn't seem to hinder anything. We don't impede, we don't allow our employees to stand next to roads to where they would put themselves at risk or put motors at risk. So I don't think that's really a big deal, as long as maybe I'm asking you to, I understand from a safety standpoint, but I'm asking you not to say, all right, we're just not going to allow people to stand on, let's say, Highway 50, like Lazy Boy is a client that hires us all the time. That's on East 50 there. That we need the exposure to 50. We need to reach those motorists in order to drive the traffic in there to announce the sales event. It works, and so just rethink it, but just rather just say, okay, boom, done. No more sign spinners.
But what I notice is, the corners that I'm thinking of that we have sign spinners on, most of the time they're on the sidewalks. They're out on the corner. I see them on the corner of McDonald's on Clark. I see them on Highway 50. And at this point, Highway 50 is dangerous to me at this point as a pedestrian, the way it's construction. But most of the sign spinners that I see are right there on the sidewalk, standing in front of where people push the buttons to cross the streets. That's where I'm noticing. So
okay. Well, again, we've been offering the service a long time, and I'm not here to impede safety, public safety. I want to complement public safety. So in our training, how we train our employees, we have video training for our employees and say, you don't stand on the sidewalk. Now, I can't, I'm speaking for my business.
I understand.
And, but I think, but I'm also speaking on behalf of part-time employees. I'm speaking on behalf of the businesses that really depend on this. And so you may decide, okay, we'll regulate in a way to where you can't impede pedestrian traffic, you can't do that. But I'm just saying, don't shut it down to where we would not have the access to be at a major corner. You can say, well, you can be at the major corner, but you can't be on the sidewalk. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
But we're not, I can't speak for the rest of the commission, but I believe that, I'm business friendly. We want our businesses to succeed.
Mhm.
We don't want to see people out of work. I don't believe any intention here on this.
Well, I understand that might be, but the way that staff is presenting it, and again, this isn't my first rodeo with the cities, but the way the staff is presenting it, you will create a detriment to businesses, and it will deem ineffective for them.
I'm gonna make a comment. I ride all the roads all over, every day, everywhere. I'm in Winter Garden, I don't see one on the corners because they passed that. If I'm not mistaken, Winter Garden got that ordinance through them.
They were in our city.
Huh? But I'm gonna make that comment. They don't have them, but we do because they come over here. Now, I will tell you, and I don't wanna take the business away from them. We're begging them to come here. We don't want them to leave. But I'll tell you, I've watched the guy on Highway 50. He's got about a 10-foot, about a 4-foot sign swinging it around, and he's in the construction zone of where the heavy equipment's working. He's standing out there where he can get out to the middle of the road. Now, I don't know if he works for you.
He does, no.
I wonder if he hadn't been run over by a Caterpillar.
Yeah,
But
no.
the problem is that's where we have the problems. Winter Garden doesn't have it. But the guy from the furniture store in Winter Garden that puts on going out of business sale for the last 20 years, he's over in Ocoee.
Yeah.
I mean, how we can come to an agreement where it works for everybody, I don't know.
Well-
I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But
Right.
we also got to have them somehow or another get within requirements of what we need to do and have done.
Yeah, well,
And I will say, and I know everybody in here goes to Winter Garden, they got a lot of business going on over there, and I don't see any sign spinners.
I can't speak for Winter Garden. I was at the Winter Garden meeting myself when that was happening, and I can't travel all over the country battling against the commissioners, and it's not what I'm here to do, but I am here just to, as a business owner
Yeah.
who helps clients, my job, as my business, I generate leads for clients. I generate awareness clients. If you boil it down to what do we do, that's what we do. And the sign spinning, the human directionals, twirlers, whatever you want to call them, it's been around for many, many years. It works. And if it didn't work, businesses I wouldn't be offering it.
All right.
So, to address your concern, I would ask that staff could review the way they're proposed to writing this and say, well, you can't be on a sidewalk, or you can't be within certain distance of the roadway. But to restrict it that you have to be on the property that's owned by, you're going to kill it. You're going to kill it. You got strip centers that are way back, and businesses can't be seen back there.
If I may, Mayor?
Yes.
I guess the other question, though, is if we restrict them from the sidewalks, and you don't want them in the right-of-way right on the side of the road where they could get hit. Now you're putting them on somebody else's property, though. Aren't you not going, and you would know probably better than I because you're in that industry, but are you not going to get some feedback from another business owner who's saying, hey, why is your guy spinning on my property? So I'm just seeing that as an issue too, because I'm just not comfortable with I don't want them on somebody else's property. At the same time, where they're standing, I think too close to the road in some cases, especially the one that the mayor was talking about there, where he's literally out in the construction. And so I'm not seeing the true benefit, especially when you look at a place like Winter Garden, who has none of them, and I'm not seeing
Well,
businesses going out of business.
Commissioner, all I can say, if it's the commission's desire to get rid of it, then pass the ordinance the way you want, and it will go away. And that's all I can say. But if we respect someone's property, and they say, well, we don't want you here, then we're not there. But my company, we do business with Taylor Morrison, we do business with Lennar, we do business with Toll Brothers, we do business with major publicly traded companies. Most of the apartment communities that we do business for are owned by mega insurance companies, and they don't want any fuss about property situations like that. So maybe when you're writing the ordinance, that you put in that you have to be so many feet from here and so many feet there. I'm just asking you not to think about not restricting it to only being on the property ownership. Because let's say a shopping center. Who owns the shopping center? It's going to be some big REIT located in New York or Cleveland or something like that. And how do you get hold of that person and say this and that and the other? And that's really all I have.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll bring it back here. What's your pleasure, guys, ladies?
You're thinking about that. Let me read the title to the ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Section 8.6 of the City of Ocoee Land Development Code, defining and regulating human signs, amending Section 153-4 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, and creating a new Section 153.4.1 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, prohibiting human signs for purposes of right-of-way utilization, providing for enforcement, providing for penalties, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing an effective date. That's the ordinance for regulating human signs. There's a companion resolution that goes with it that sets forth the fine and fee schedule. And this is a resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the fine and fee schedule as authorized by ordinance number 2017-15 relating to subsection 153-4C of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Okey-doke.
I'll make a motion to pass the ordinance as written.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grogan, seconded by Commissioner First. Any more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
We have the resolution also we need to vote on.
And now we need the resolution.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keller, seconded by Commissioner Grogan. Any more comments? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Let's see here. We're going over to, whoops, that's it. Regular agenda. None? Staff action?
I have nothing further, Mayor.
Comments from Commissioner. Commissioner Keller.
Only one. We mentioned in one of the proclamations about the Police Memorial Week, the week of the 15th. There is in the county on May 4th, this Thursday, is the actual county service that they do for the memorial service for the fallen police officers. Always a beautiful ceremony, so worth coming out if you've got the time. Thursday night it'll be at the courthouse down in Orlando. That's all, Mayor.
Commissioner Firstner.
I just want to remind everybody that there are water restrictions in place. There's no watering on Mondays or Fridays. Please be aware of this. It's very dry out there. I do believe there's an Orange County open ban on burning.
Yes.
If not, there should be. The police department's going to have a community picnic on Saturday, May 6th, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Tiger Minor Park. Everybody come out and have some fun. And Coffee with a Cop next will be at the West Orange Creamery, May 18th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's it.
Mr. I'm going to let Mr. Benacki.
You want to do some sanctuary?
As far as watering,
R.P. Benacki,
RP,
1820 Prairie Lane.
right.
Thank you.
I forgot what the subject was. I water sporadically, it's a hose in it. I'm not involved in this, am I? You're talking about somebody's putting.
I believe if you
sprinkler
hold the
out
hose,
something?
you can water whenever, as long as you want holding the hose. That,
Rich, do you want to tell them that it's reclaimed?
if you're watering with your hose, you can do
I
that
think you might
whenever
want to
you
tell
want.
them that it's reclaimed.
You may do that whenever you want.
Okay. I just want to clarify it.
Yeah.
The last time I spoke up, that was a part of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Commissioner Wilson.
One question, just want to make sure that we have officially canceled the July 4th meeting. Did that go on the?
Yes, we
that
have.
is official. Okay.
Official.
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 Just want to make sure. The other one question, Steve Krug, you don't have to get up for this. It's okay. Stay there. Just want to thank you. White Road, as opposed to Orlando Avenue. White Road looks really good, and the median that's going in, I think it's going to help with traffic calming. Is that the right word? So thank you to Public Works, doing a great job there. The neighbors are excited about that little lake going away. And what they, hopefully they realize is, the other side of that is the county. It is not us. So we are taking care of the retention, the water problem that is on White Road, just east of Clark Road. So thank you. And Deputy Chief, are we on for Memorial Day, starting Memorial Day over the summer, that the police will be patrolling on the weekends? You weren't here when we did this, but the Stark Lake, the lakefront, that we're set for that, so that we can control issues that happen down there at that point. Thank you. And no, just that, I want to reiterate, the reclaimed water. Water is not a renewable source, and we need to be very conservative of our water, and especially as we all know, our lawns are getting dry. And using water on hours that are not appropriate, which is between 10 and 4, but please don't water your yard during those hours. You're just wasting water. Thank you.
Commissioner Grogan.
Worst Road, we have the sewer line starting to get on West Road now. So for the next couple of weeks, hopefully they'll get it through pretty quick. Expect delays, expect dust, dirt. It's going to be a mess. The good thing is that once the line's put in, we'll do a resurfacing of the road, so we'll get a nice road back. So just be aware of that. Please slow down. That's all I have.
All right, Steve. While Steve's on his way up here, Rob, I'd like to address an issue with the golf course. In our contract or our agreement, lease agreement with them, there's things that they need to do. One of them is where they to verify the rates that are comparable to other places. So what I'd like, the consent from the commissioners, that Rob can send a letter, which it states in the lease agreement, that they have to do a survey of the other surrounding golf courses, and that has to be Orange, Seminole, and Lake County, that they give us a comparison of what theirs are, and there's different times of the year that they have to show that. So if that's agreeable to the commissioners.
Yep.
I agree.
We've got another problem too with some other things, John, and that Rob can tell you about that too.
We'll take care of that, too.
But, so is that okay with the commissioners?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Bike racks. I was downtown this afternoon before I came to the meeting for the opening of the Kona Ice. They had their chamber deal pictures. And sure enough, I took pictures of them when I was out in Wyoming not too long ago. Bike racks. We have no bike racks downtown Ocoee. So we need to address at least putting, say, 3 or 4, maybe 4 of them downtown somewhere. People can ride up to the restaurant, put it out somewhere there, down by the bookstore and the Yukon Ice and a couple other places.
There's not even one in the park.
No.
I
So,
mean,
we
I know,
wanna-
I think what we need to think about it, and maybe go over it, Steve, but there's a way of making a design. We can do our emblem
Right.
on the bike racks
Right.
with our emblem, our city emblem.
Right,
Yeah,
let's
I
come
got
up,
a
let's
couple
come
of
up.
ideas.
Huh?
I've got a couple of good ideas.
Okay,
good.
all right, so can we address that? Sure. Okay. The other thing is, we talked about the benches, we approved getting the benches on the lake, and the one on Clark Road, so Steve's here to ask for some money.
No.
No.
Just kidding.
We don't have anything left in
Okay, I was gonna ask for 25,000, so since you said no to that, let me reduce it down a little bit. No,
I don't think contingency has
Based
that
on-
much anymore.
based on what, from various sources, from talking with the mayor and the commissioner, we're asked to price out 4 benches, some additional benches down Lake Shore Drive, and also a bench on Clark Road, in the area where the memorial for Aubrey
Right.
Clark is.
To replace the memorial.
To replace, to kind of let them clean up that area. The pricing on that for all 5 benches comes to just under $7,300 for the benches. The concrete could be covered within the public works sidewalk budget. The one caution I'd have is which I probably didn't realize this before, so it was pointed out by our assistant city manager, is with the park redesign master planning going on, that actually includes going all the way down Lake Shore Drive to Lafayette, between Lake Shore and the lake. If you approve this, we'd want to make sure it ties in also with the plans, which is progressing right now. So we don't want to just go out there and put them out. We will want to work with our
Right.
designers to make sure we put it in the right spot. That'll enhance what we're doing.
Quick comment on that, and that's Commissioner Wilson's district, but I have had the citizens over there, I keep getting addressed because we approved it a long time ago. We didn't get around to it, and we were waiting to do this. I think we can put those benches, and they'll be pretty standard as the metal benches, right? Not metal, but
Yes.
steel, the green or black, whatever color. I think green's a prettier color, so.
They'll be
they'll fit.
identical to the ones that are down
Right.
there. It's just, at some point, we're gonna try and work with them to get, by the time the benches get delivered and all, hopefully they'll have a design. But at some point, they may have to be relocated to
Right,
match.
we'll work on that, but I think the citizens will be real happy if we get that to the point.
Can you be more, I'd like to be very specific, since you're saying this. Where are the benches going?
We were looking at 4 benches, located from Oakland, between Oakland and Lafayette, on the lake side of Lake Shore Drive.
Okay.
Kinda
Not
near
on the
lights, aren't
sidewalk,
they?
but
Yeah, I'm just, folks like, I mean, to know, and sometimes it gets a little confusing, there's a
No
lot
problem.
going on here, so.
All right. Something, this has nothing to do with you. Thank you very much. So
I guess
we
the
gonna give you
question
Well, I was gonna say,
Okay.
before
Wait a
he-
minute.
Before he leaves.
Yeah, does he want the money?
We already
That'll
said
take,
no.
that'll take half of your remaining contingency. You have about $14,000
Okay.
and change in there.
All right.
That we have 14 in contingency,
Yeah, just over 14.
so he's getting
Half.
half.
Yeah.
we need $7,300.
Okay, so up to
Okay.
$7,300.
We need to vote on that?
Yeah, we should.
All right, motion.
Motion.
By Commissioner Wilson, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner
Grogan.
Somebody fight over it.
Grogan. All right, let's vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Deputy Chief, speeders. I know we talk about this all the time. I'll tell you, I did see a car finally, I think it was the day, up on Kissimmee. Somehow or another, somewhere, we have got to put somebody out there to stop them. That's a racetrack. When they come off of a McKee to go to run into McGuire, or from McGuire to McKee, it's a racetrack. Somebody somehow or another, we've got to stop them. I mean, I don't see how to keep from flipping out there, so,
We have children crossing the street there,
yeah.
going down
So,
Floral to go to
I
school.
mean, maybe with a little bit more addressing and also I got a letter from our past city clerk, Grafton, and we sent him a thing from Steve about the stops on 7th Street over here in front of the elementary school. I think it's a short staff area there, but maybe have a little extra police protection in there, write them a few tickets, and that might get their attention. All right. Anybody else have any more?
Now, that letter went to both Steve and to the police department.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, they sent me a letter about it, so I wanted to know. All right, anybody else? If not, motion adjourned. Adjourned. Okay.